Con este primer día del set de conocimiento de COLOMBIATEX de las Américas 2025. Les recuerdo que esta conferencia es en inglés, así que quienes todavía no tengan su equipo de traducción simultánea pueden acceder a él al lado izquierdo de las escaleras con su documento de identidad. Quiero darle la bienvenida a Annie Sear, CEO y computadora de Tengiva, con su conferencia El futuro de la transformación digital para los negocios y cadenas de suministro textil por medio de cadenas digitales en la TAM. Recibámosla con un fuerte aplauso.
Buenas, ¿me escuchan? Ok, súper, les va bien. Sí, hablo un poco de español, pero no suficiente para hacer 40 minutos en un stage, todo en español. Así lo que vamos a hacer hoy, si ustedes no se sienten, va a estar dinámico, ok, yo voy a pedir preguntas, yo quiero que ustedes participen. Así no se siente confortable de responder o hacer preguntas en inglés, lo hace en español, yo voy a entender súper bien y yo creo que en la sala hay gente con micrófono para ayudar que nos escuchamos. Ok, estamos un poquito adelante hoy, but I will switch back to English for today's presentation. So pleasure to meet you all. Thank you for being here today. I'm Annie Sear. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Tengiva. Very briefly, Tengiva is a software company that our mission is to help everyone across the supply chain access more easily materials, from wherever and whoever you are, wherever it's small emerging brands and independent designer to global brands. I will be taking some notes today, but that's going to be a dynamic session. So just a quick background so you understand a bit where I'm coming from and why we're going to be talking about digital transformation of the textile supply chain. I basically began my career as a fashion designer. I've pretty much done everything at this stage, from designing, pattern making, technical specs, and so on. And at some point I was like, I need more challenge. Let's try something else. And I returned to university in production floor management. I was like, yeah, that's the next thing. Yep, not. Actually, I went there, I had this teacher, and she was so passionate about textiles. She was talking about it like food, and you were leaving that room like, oh my God, I need to eat. And I was like, super cool, but there's no book about that. It's actually, you need to either read a super complex scientific book to get the information about the performance of the fabric, or then you go into, well, wool is so nice and so fun. I'm like, we kind of need something in the middle. And I looked at my teacher and I'm like, hey, why don't you write a book? You have all the credential to do so. And she's like, I don't have time. Why don't you? Well, didn't thought of that. So she kind of launched me on a 3-year project to write a book on textile that would be adapted for every one of us, but giving us the content we need in a single page. And from that, well, I discovered the completely different world that it is, because textile doesn't speak the same language than fashion. And that's where it launched me onto the supply chain side. Yes, we got to pause. Perfecto, gracias. Ok, yo voy a hablar más despacio. Perfecto. You see, I switched back to Spanish. That might happen today, switching in between 2 languages. So, publish the book, what happens next? I started working in the supply chain. I was working for this company sourcing fabrics for the governmental contracts, basically. They were doing uniforms for the Canadian Defense, for border agencies, and we were buying roughly $20 million of textile every year. On the side, I was working with emerging brands. I was like, I have all this knowledge. I'm meeting with global supplier. Why can't I make it available to brands that are emerging, that wants to grow? And in both ways, I was always facing the same issue. How do I get the fabric? Why does it have to be so complicated? why when I'm an emerging brand, I cannot access these amazing fabrics. So one day, at the table, at the house, drinking for sure Colombian coffee because it's the best, we said, well, let's fix this. And that's when Tengiva was born. So with that said, what's really the problem? Why can't I access these fabrics so easily? All right, that's how it works. Well, you see, I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with the evolution of the retail industry. Today, we go in a store and it's easy. They have these point of sales and it's connected with their e-commerce, and you have all of these tools to make your life easy as a buyer. That was not like that 20, 30 years ago. It was those gray cashier that they were typing in. There was an evolution that happened over the past 20, 30 years. But the supply chain are still faced with technologies that were developed in the 90s. They have not had the chance to have all of these technologies that are available for retail, for these connections. They have a lot of technologies, but not for this part yet. So before we begin, and I'm going to stay quite a while on that slide because that's when we're going to start interacting. Today it's an interactive session, as I've said. So you will be working more than I am. We're going to create 3 groups. The first group, and I would like those who fit in that group to raise their hand, okay? Because I'm going to have questions for you later. Group 1, anyone who identifies as fashion student, independent designers, and working for emerging brands, so this means up to about 10 million in revenues. Who identifies in group 1? Grupo 1. Eso. Perfecto. Super. Thank you. We're now going to go in group 2. Group 2, we're going to talk about larger brands. When you're further along in the process, anyone above working for companies, brands above $10 million in revenue. Who identifies in group 2? Not a lot of show of hands. Okay, perfect. There, perfect, excellent. We're going to have questions as well. Group 3, the suppliers. Who works for textile suppliers or is involved on the side of the supply side? By the raise of hands. Perfect. Do we have more? All right. Good. So I expect you to get involved. There's a lot of people. What have I missed? Did you just not raise hands? Okay. Super. So, making digital transformation is about many things, but it's not about one thing. It's not about blame. It's about being able to look at our fears, our pains, what we would like, our dream, and to do it collaboratively. So to be able to talk about what would help one, what is difficult for the other, and this is what we'll do today, and we're going to end up with a solution. And good news, actually. So don't worry, it's a super positive presentation today. So we're going to start by asking some questions to group 1 and 2. I'm going to ask you, let's say today you want to get a sample swatch. You know the small ones? All right. How do you do that? You want to get a swatch from a supplier that you like. What is the first thing you do? Anyone from group 1? Do I have hands? All right, sorry. Yeah, it's overwhelming this stage, so please. You call the supplier. Perfect. What else? Do I have hands? Okay, we visit a trade show like Inex Moda, like COLOMBIATEX. We go visit to the booth. What's next? An email? All right. Yes? Sorry, it's... you visit the company. Very good. Excellent. So you need proximity. All right, perfect. Superb. Group 2, because it's a bit different sometimes when we evolve in different stages. It's most likely you want to discover a new supplier. But what about when you already have a supply chain? So those in group 2, larger brands, how do you do that? How do you get a sample from a fabric that you want to try? I had 2. Yes? Oh, we have someone right there. Sí, sí, en español. Perfecto.
Los proveedores normalmente nos contactan
Perfecto.
y pedimos una muestra para poder conocer sus telas. Nos las hacen llegar en el metraje que nosotros necesitemos.
Perfecto, gracias. Súper. Ahora, vamos un poco más difícil. Recibimos la muestra. Oh, ay, me volvió en español. Ok. Yo voy a hacer los dos. We received the sample. Now let's say we want to try it. I want 200 meter. How do I do that? How do you get that 200 meter? Can you get 200 meter? Anyone? Group 1, Group 2? Can you get 200 meter? Might be a bit difficult. Might have to get resourceful. Un poco, eso. Non se preocupe. Today, it's not about putting blame. It's about understanding the pain. And you will see, because when we understand that, we understand what's the solution. But for larger company, production order, because in the end, that's really what we want to do. We want to place large, 3,000 meter, more of production. What's the step? How many email exchange for one order? I'm going to start throwing some numbers I've got from the industry. I hope you're calculating it. We're talking about 100. I've heard a client tell me 300 email for one fabric. That's a lot. That's a lot. But it's not nobody's fault. Because when we don't have the tool, there's a limit to what we can really do. So we're going to start doing maths, and I'm going to now talk to group number 3, the suppliers. There's no cost usually for a sample. You will most likely send it out to the brand who wants to see it. But there's a cost for the supplier. How much is it? Do we calculate this cost? Shipping, email, a lot, specs, information, accounting, preparing. Am I forgetting something, suppliers, in sending a sample? No? We're roughly at $100 to send one sample. Oh, cutting it, preparing it. Oh yeah, we need to pack it to be able to ship it. Unfortunately, this is the maths behind sending one sample. Let's continue. The 200 meter. I'm going to be generous and I'm going to say that it's a 10% margins on a $6 fabric. This means roughly 120 in profit, right? Really? How many emails? How many departments involved? How many calls? How do we ship this fabric? The system is not built to be able to have this speed, these tools, in terms of accelerating this profit and making it profitable for supplier to make these materials more accessible. So those are pretty much the maths of, hey, we want to be part of working with you, but we have limits as well. How can we solve this problem? There's actually 3 elements in what I've just said. Time, access to information, and manual process. This is what's costly. So if we can address these 3, what's stopping us? And that's what together, today, we're going to fix. We're going to build solutions. All right. So with that, I have to find myself back. I spoke too much. How Tengiva is fixing that issue? Well, first, who are we and what do we do? I'm going to tell you a bit about us. Tengiva, we're a software company. And we have developed, for instance, a software that allows textile producers to do their own e-commerce. And that allows trade shows, textile association to have their own marketplace. Just as a matter of reference, what's the difference between the two? Anyone knows? So e-commerce, one entity towards the world. A marketplace is a place, it's like a supply chain. It's a place where there's all these suppliers under one roof. It's like today, COLOMBIATEX, all these suppliers under one roof, digitally. So, what does it mean? Unfortunately, we cannot yet work directly with brands, but you're going to be working with our clients, with our teams, like that are building their own e-commerce and their own marketplace. So let's see how we fix, and now finally a moving slide. How we fix that. So I'm going to drop my notes for a moment. In the textile industry, there are 3 transactions that we need. We've just covered them. Samples, we need to see, we need to feel and view the fabric. We need to be able to order stock, because let's face it, nobody ever placed a 20,000 meter order without seeing, really testing the fabric, and for that, you need stock. And the third, well, it's the gold. It's the one we all want. It's the production order. So, time, manual process, and access to information. When you fix those 3, you can fix the whole process. So, in our technologies, you can see, imagine any suppliers you'd like to, or any platform you'd like to. You can instantly, okay, the definition is clearly not superb there, but I'll walk you through, no worries. So you can directly order swatch sample without even involving the suppliers. Part of the service is that all of it is centralized. So imagine that as a buyer, whomever you are, wherever you are, you click on this button and a week later you receive your swatch sample. Is that a dream? Yep. Not 3 months later. Next day. Oh, and not a maybe. You will get it a week later. It's super exciting. Finally. But let's continue. That was no time, no effort, no cost for the supplier. It's part of it. Let's do more. Let's look at the stock. Because the fact is, step 1, I need to know what the supplier has. And this is often one of the most complex questions. We have no visibility on the catalog of product. That's what an e-commerce is. It's a full access directly to the catalog of a supplier, where you can see in real time their stock levels. Hey, I have a rush order. My client reordered more units. What do? I cannot wait 3 months to make the fabric. Ooh, you know what? They have 600 meter in stock. The color is a bit different. Really? My client will be just as happy. This is an opportunity. Again, time, access to information, and manual process. Everything is automated. Zero effort. Suppliers even receive a shipping label. No effort. The stock is connected. Fine. What you don't see at the bottom of this page is that all the technical, and I will precise because there are suppliers in the room, public information, not private. So all the technical information that designers need is available there. They don't need to pick up the phone. They don't need to send emails. All this information is there. That's the power of access to information. This is how we change and make it beneficial for everyone. And you click, everyone receives its information, it's automatic, and a week later, you get the fabric. You design faster, you produce faster, you're more competitive as brands. That's second. Let's look at the fun part of production orders. That one is a tough cookie. Been there, done that. I had literally, in my previous job, for those who don't know, I literally had my emails that I was copy-pasting to get quotes from my 20 suppliers that could have served me that particular fabric. And it was on and repetitive. I was like, there's clearly a better way to make my life easy. Well, when you click on the button that is very unwell defined on my screen, but the left button is the production quote request. Imagine that you directly see what's the MOQ, what's the MOC to place an order. Not just that, you actually place the quote. You select the color, you put your color coordinate, your Pantone, you upload your design, your print that you want. And then the supplier gets a qualified client that then really knows what they want and knows what they're getting into, because that's the fact. If I don't know what you have as product, if I'm a buyer, you're a supplier, and I don't see your catalog, I don't know what I'm getting into. There you do. Now you see that. So this is 3 process: minimal efforts, automation, and access to information. So this is how we can solve that through technologies. All right, now we're getting in the best part. Oh yeah, that part too, I forgot. That's the most important part too. So we often look at technologies. This is something we faced a lot in Tengiva as it's fun, it's technology, it's digital, but how does it fit in today's operation? Like, do I always have to go digital? How does it work in what I'm doing today? So today we're in a trade show, and then we're gonna look at how would it evolve the relation or the experience during a trade show. Well, you can use it in so many ways. Once you have your e-commerce or digital showroom, it's a matter when you're sitting down with a sales rep, they already have the information. Hey, I'm looking for this fabric. Let me look. Oh yes, these fabrics fits your criteria. I think these performance. Oh, perfect. Let's select them. I'm gonna send you directly an email that contains every product we've spoke about today. And you're gonna be able to take action even before you return back to the office. You're gonna click, get your sample before you return back home. You're gonna click a week later because you've decided amongst the 10 which one you wanted to try and to test, and you will get it in your office in a week later. This is part of what you do. Technology should not be seen as a different world. They are not replacing the human interaction. They are part of it. They're enhancing it. It's about removing the inefficiencies, removing what's not fun. I'd be so happy just sitting down with my sales rep and tell me everything that is new. Tell me what passionates you about your product. I'm going to do the operational, the basic on the other side, and we're going to have quality time together. So you should not see technologies as something that is different, that is scary. It's actually elevating everything you're already doing today. And now, I'm going to send you out today to go see people who are doing it already here in COLOMBIATEX. We have Camilo here. So if you do see Camilo, their booth, they have Ecuador textiles. So if you're seeking to source out of Ecuador, they centralize all of the textile from suppliers from Ecuador in their marketplace. So I invite you to go visit their booth. It's available right here, but it's very simple. You go down the stairs outside to the left, correct? Perfect. Camilo will be super happy to receive you and to walk you through their platform. We also have other suppliers here, Fabricato, that is part of, hello, that is just here, and they are part of another marketplace called World Collective that specializes in sustainable material. So go visit them. They will show you the experience that you can live on this platform and how easy and interactive this is. But we're not stopping there. We have something big to announce today. It's that I think there's a lot of the partners of the project in the room. Do we have some of the partners of the project? And I know you'll know. Okay. So there's something coming in April here in Colombia. And I'm happy to share that Colombia will have its own platform from all key industry stakeholders coming together to make this happen. So from April, you'll all be able to source directly like that from all suppliers from Colombia. And I would like to applaud all of the partners in this project. I know there are some in the rooms. I invite you all to go visit the website. It will tell you all and walk you through how can you be part of it, whether as a partner, whether as a supplier. Tengiva, we're the technology partner. It is an effort. It's a collaborative effort of the Colombian textile industry, and bravo to everyone. So on this, I'm done. I'm done doing the presentation, but I would like to open the space, if we do have time, I think so, for questions. So if there's any questions in the room, I think there are mics around. Just feel free to raise your hand. All right, we got one right there. Oh, and please tell me who you are at the same time. I'd like to know names. Perfect. Names and what do you do?
¿Ya?
En español. Sí,
Perdón. Soy Gema Villamizar, diseñador, empresario, vivo todos los procesos que nombraste y me interesaría ver si en este e-commerce podemos tener todos los tipos de tejidos. En este caso yo me fortalezco más en el denim y es real lo que tú dices. Nosotros para poder hacer una programación, una producción o colección tenemos que tener una programación con nuestros proveedores. Ahorita con toda la problemática que hay para poder hacer todo lo que son las importaciones a Colombia, se nos ha vuelto algo engorroso, ¿sí? Poder pedir tela, tener disponibilidad de inventario y pues esto afecta realmente no solamente a la empresa y al cliente, sino también a esta persona que está esperando que esta colección llegue a sus manos, ¿sí? Este cliente final que en todo el proceso es uno de los pilares para que cualquier empresa crezca, ¿sí? Entonces pues sí me gustaría saber si manejan todos los tejidos y me encantaría que cuando llegue a Colombia empezara a buscar en ese e-commerce porque pues ya manejo con algunos proveedores nacionales todos los que son mis inventarios.
Sí, gracias. Sí, se puede tener todos los tipos de telas, y yo voy a hacerlo en español, todos los tipos de telas y el importante, ¿sabes qué? Es todo de Colombia. Así se puede comprar de su país. Hacer una cadena local de telas de Colombia, así tener, es tan difícil. Debemos ir afuera porque no sabemos siempre quién que podemos y dónde podemos comprar. Así tú puedes comprar de Colombia, de acá, y hacer un producto colombiano. Sí. Yo creo, ahí, el hombre ahí, sí.
Hola, Federico López de CO20.
Sí.
Bueno, obviamente esto tiene un impacto ambiental en términos de emisiones.
Sí.
¿Cómo lo piensan afrontar?
¿Cómo no?
¿O qué van a hacer al respecto en términos de tu carbon footprint of the website?
Esta es una grande pregunta. I will have to answer this one in English because that's too technical to go in Spanish. Okay? Perfect. The key to improving anything is to know where you're starting from. If you don't know where you're starting from, by that I mean, what is the current data? What is the current product? What is the current information about your product? You cannot move forward. I'm going to go a bit technical, okay? I'm going to go a bit technology to answer this question. So Tengiva's technology behind the scene, what really happens to make all of these three processes possible is that we've created the first completely structured data architecture of the textile supply chain. What does that mean? That means that behind every product you see, in the software, behind, there's roughly 500 possible variables, data, behind every single product. That's a lot. What this means, to answer your question, is that imagine the future where you can associate one data with a CO2 equivalent. Cotton from a certain country has this impact. Good. Let's do that on 500 data. You'd be able to generate automatically a calculation, a very close approximation of an impact just like that. You're currently learning what's in development at Tengiva, that we will be releasing towards all the technologies. So this way you know where you are as a supplier, how you can improve. Sometimes it's just a matter of a simple thing that you change that can improve substantially your impact. But then you can translate it for brands, for buyers, knowing which one has more or less impact. Most of you must have visited Google Flights, right? I don't know if you've seen, but basically when you're searching for a flight, to the right side you're going to see this one has this much less impact. Well, this is things you can develop when the technologies are built in that way. So this is how I would answer the question on one aspect. Yep. Thank you. Any other questions? All good? Oh, we have one there. Good. Perfect. Thank you.
Hola, Juliana Noreña de Lógica. Quiero preguntarte en temas más de convocatoria para textileros y compradores, ¿sí? Tú decías que en temas de socios o de pronto de colaboración para esa convocatoria como tal de industriales, ¿sí? Que serían en este caso los compradores, y pues de esos aguas arriba, que sería el tema de materia prima e insumos. ¿Cómo uno puede ser parte haciendo una asociación o una agremiación que ya tiene pues muchas empresas de estas vinculadas? Bueno, básicamente pues esa es la pregunta.
Okay. I will just validate I've understood correctly the question. So I understood that you want to know how you can be part of Colombia Textile, whether you're a supplier or a brand and so on, correct? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay. So, part of Colombia Textiles, 2 seconds, my brain needs to change from Tengiva to talking about the project. So on the website, you'll have all the details, but in a nutshell, how it works is brands, you can create free accounts. So you will be able to directly access and see what's available in terms of the market, and then directly start communicating, exchanging, and connecting with suppliers. Right now, today, what can be done is you can create your pre-account. So basically, you're just saying, hey, let me know when it's time, and at that moment, you will most likely directly receive a link to just create your password. It's made easy for everyone. Second, if you're suppliers, it's possible to join today. So visit the website, there are links, there's contacts, and also we have team members aside that will be able to redirect towards the resources to be part of it. We're also welcoming partners. It's really a collaborative platform. It's a collaborative effort from all stakeholders across Colombia. So feel free to reach out to the team. Thank you.
Tengo otra pregunta. Bueno, además de estar contenta por lo del certificado de origen, porque vamos a poder sí, ampliarnos a buscar más negocios internacionales, quisiera saber qué tan comprometido está esta plataforma, este e-commerce, sí, como proveedor con la sostenibilidad.
Okay, you want to understand how this platform is involved towards sustainability, correct? Okay, perfect. I'm someone who thinks that towards positive reinforcement. What this means is nobody in the world, no supplier in the world is waking up in the morning saying, ha, I'm gonna mess with Mother Nature. That's not how it works. Supply chains are faced with realities that unfortunately you cannot go around. You need to dye, you'll need water, you'll need chemicals, you'll need these elements. That's the first part. Second is, what does it mean, sustainability? I'm not gonna dig that hole, okay? I'm not getting into that, okay? But unless you really know where you're starting from and you can show that you're improving yourself, it's difficult to say, I'm sustainable. That's why there are certifications. That's why there are that's why there are organizations in here supporting and giving resources to be able to quantify and to qualify what means sustainability. Because you could have the most sustainable cotton in the world, but then use another process later. Oh, I want a wrinkle resistant on my cotton shirt. You're done. You're completely done. You've got. But I get the performance that you really want to achieve at the same time, because you want an executive shirt and it needs to look good at all time. So it's always two elements that we need to balance when we analyze sustainability. How I see the world of sustainability. I see it, like I've said, through data. You cannot improve yourself if you don't know where you're starting from. If all your information about your product is offline, on servers and in Excel, it's really complicated to do analysis, to do audits. If it's structured, you can automate your analysis. You can accelerate these improvements. I think the future with data will be drastically improved. But today, I don't think we should put blame. We should look at how can we do better together. So with a platform that brings everyone in a structured way, in a comparable way, then we can say, hey, you know what, I could maybe do that and it will improve. So everyone wakes up wanting to do good every morning, and sustainability is a really broad concept. So I say, let's go towards positive reinforcement. Those that do better, they have certification and they can display it and they can share it to the public, and people that are seeking for that, they will go to that. But you cannot know if you don't see it. And that's where data comes in. If you have this certificate, show it, be proud of it, put it into your product catalog. People will go and filter and search for that one. Thank you. Yes? Hello, Danielle. I remember you.
In terms of the, like you right now are speaking in terms of the data that it's going to back and forth between buyers and suppliers. How are you thinking the other stakeholders in the ecosystem that actually can add value towards the data and the transactions that runs through the specific transaction that every supplier or importer in this case will need?
So just to be clear, for instance, there's technologies today that are doing the, oh, I think it's because I'm getting too close to the speaker. All right, so I'm going to stay a bit further. So if I understand right, you're referring to, for example, garment technologies, so where you would be able to request quotation for assembly, so cutting the clothing and assembling. So this is an excellent question as well. So we've actually spoken with a lot of these technologies, and they're faced with the same issue that all designers today is that they've automated all of the process that now you can go online and say, okay, I want to do 100 t-shirt, and they will propose you supplier and processes, and it's all automated. But suppliers for the clothing, then it's really complicated to have access to the fabric, or they need to go into large volume. When your data are live, it's just a matter of connecting the two. So this information, I'm not talking about Colombia Textile here, I'm talking about Tengiva's technology, can be directly connected with these technologies so it can elevate them, make them faster, more efficient. So data are made to connect and to elevate all of these, no matter who it is. It's just a matter of making sure that they speak correctly in between. Have I answered? Okay, perfect, thank you. Oh, there's another one, good. Oh, perfect.
Thank you. Now, in terms of, I do understand the point, or you're trying, like, connecting every part of the ecosystem, whether it's garment or textiles and so on, but what about service suppliers that you can add into the same platform, let's say financing or data extraction, dashboarding, and so on? Does the platform is going to have an API system, or how are you thinking in terms of the flexibility of the technology?
Perfect, thank you. So I'm going to separate two elements not to confuse everyone. Tengiva is the technology, so that's the representative I am today. And Colombia Textile is a collaborative project of all key stakeholders in Colombia. That Tengiva is the technology provider behind making the platform able to run and bringing everything together. So with regards to Danielle's questions regarding the API, can we bring in, for instance, partners that would be financing partners for brands that would like to purchase fabric through the platform? Yes, Tengiva provides in its technology an API that would allow to add these options to finance directly live your product, your fabric that you're purchasing online. So thank you for taking that in notes, and we'll speak later. I think we had a question just there. Thank you.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Irley Ruiz y tengo dos preguntas. La primera, si la plataforma tendrá algún costo. Y la segunda, si está diseñada, pensada también para los emprendedores, porque a veces no necesitamos contar, pues no podemos todavía comprar esa cantidad de tela, kilos de tela que nos ofrecen, por ejemplo, en estos espacios. Gracias.
Perfecto, gracias. Por empresadores, refiere de marca para comprar, marca, okay, I'm going to switch back to English. See, emerging brands, okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, so there's no cost to join. You can create your account, you will discover everything that there is, and basically it's like pretty much any platform. So there's a pay to play, there's like a small fee that the platform will charge alongside the way, but it's embedded in it. So there's no cost to discover, and well, you will pay your fabric, but that's part of it, yeah. Oh yeah, very good point. The best news, thank you for mentioning it. What's the minimum to order? Yeah, 5 meters. You can order from 5 meters and up. This is a game changer. So 5 meters and up. If they have 1,000, you can also buy the 1,000. The system is built for that. You can choose your own delivery and so on. So yes, if you want a rush, oh, I want to develop this new project, I want to create a prototype, you go there, you click, you surf, and you can buy instantly. Thank you very much for your question. We have time for more questions, if there's any. We're good? All right. On this, thank you very much, everyone, for your time. It was a pleasure to join you today, and I wish you a great COLOMBIATEX 2025.
A Ani, quien nos visita desde Canadá, muchas gracias por compartir su conocimiento y experiencia con todos nosotros aquí en el set de conocimiento de COLOMBIATEX de las Américas 2025. Nuestra próxima conferencia dará inicio en 20 minutos, así que los invito para que mientras tanto pasen a vivir la experiencia del café de Rigo aquí en el cubo amarillo, y en el segundo piso del mismo cubo amarillo tenemos la casa Rigo Cycling Resort, que estará ubicada en ese mismo nivel superior en un espacio acogedor diseñado especialmente para recibirlos y conversar de negocios en un ambiente único con calidez y al estilo que caracteriza a Rigo. Los esperamos aquí a las 3 de la tarde.